Kera kota katoa, ngā mihi nui ki a kota katoa. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. Those of you who haven't been here before, my name is Baruch Jacob, and I run a design organization, is what we're calling it now, called Reflexive. Basically, do experience design. And these Thinking Aloud is a series we've been doing for a while, and it's very focused on having interesting conversations with people I find really interesting, particularly in the space of innovation and change and sort of doing things differently. And today's conversation is with Peter Liew. And Peter and I met quite a few years ago now when it's doing some work with Auckland Libraries and is setting up some of the makerspaces. And I really remember Peter helped us with some of the 3D printing and robotics kits, as well as with training people on how to use them. And I've really appreciated Peter's sort of very down to earth honesty and straightforwardness, particularly in dealing with some of the tech, but also his real willingness to sort of explore. You'd say, hey, I know you said we're doing it this way, but can we also do it this way? He's like, oh, yeah, no, that works. And he's always just really, really accommodating. So I've been kind of kept in touch over the years and recently had a conversation. That's like, actually, I'd really like to ask you about what you're trying to change in the world and how you're doing that and all of those conversations. So that's Peter that we're having a conversation with today. I'm going to bring him on and let him introduce himself however he will. Good on, Peter. There you are.
Kia ora,
Introduce yourself, my friend.
And kia ora koto. Okay. Hi, folks. My name is Peter Liew. I am an ordinary bloke. This is my first live stream, so I do.
Oh, nice.
I guess please excuse my nervousness in my voice and things. I'm normally quite confident, but yeah. Anyway.
You are. You really are.
So look, I'm just an ordinary bloke. What can I say? Fighting a good fight in this game of life, which we all are. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm married with two great kids. I come from. I came with my family from Malaysia when I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And New Zealand is my home. I absolutely love New Zealand. It is a great country, great place to live in. We take for granted the joys and freedoms that we have here. Oh yeah, back to introducing myself. I started as an electronics test engineer out of uni and went to production management. Currently, I'm project managing property renovations and maintenance. So I like to fix things and make it work and make it decent and high standard. In fact, in a couple of weeks, I am actually going to spend a week in Eltham to clear some bamboo from a property in Taranaki. There's a big brush of bamboo, and it scares me, but I'm going to have some fun with it. I like that kind of hard work. It's back-breaking. It's painful, but I enjoy it. I am fulfilled by doing stuff like that. So, Look, I don't make any claim to any greatness. I think you interview some really great people, and I've listened to some of those streams. And they're very, very intelligent people. So I'm I guess we'll try to not make a mess of this.
Oh, right. I mean, hey, look, I agree. They're all really smart people and really cool people, but not a single one of the people I've interviewed yet, or had a conversation. It's not even interview; it's a conversation. Not a single one of the people I've had a conversation with is going to Latham to clear a stand of bamboo. So, it's like
you never know. You never know.
Do you know how many people? Do you know how many people I know who are going to Latham to clear a stand of bamboo, and you talk about it like it's a bit of work? You know how many people I know? I know one person, dude.
But you never know. But that's life. And as I said, this is a conversation between great friends, and I always respected you. You are really genuine, and there's just not enough of this stuff in the world. So and you exude this energy from you in a way it sort of inspires you. You speak that sort of language this body, you cannot explain it. This positive energy language, it just comes out from
Oh,
you naturally. So
cheers, Peter.
it's
Yeah.
always fun talking to you, and this is what this is. So when you
Yeah.
suggested let's
Nah.
have a conversation about this stuff, I'm like nervous as f, but you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. We need to talk
Let's
about
do
this.
it, man.
If
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah,
to
yeah. We
be
need to talk
talking
about stuff.
about how we can change the world to be better, I should front up.
Yeah, yeah.
Show
Nah,
up.
try it.
You got to step up. So if anything, if we
Yeah,
can
man.
inspire, not to say inspire,
Yeah,
I don't know what the right word. I don't want to consider
yeah.
myself inspirational. If we can make an effective change that's positive
Shifting things. Yeah,
to anyone
yeah,
listening,
yeah,
then we achieve the goal.
yeah.
We achieve the goal.
No, I
So
think that's really true. Yeah,
mm. So you're
mm,
gonna ask questions and all that, but I'm
yeah,
just
kind
as
of.
interested as to your own answers to your own questions too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh,
let this be
totally.
a conversation. This is a two-way conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we started with where we started, if you were to think about what you're trying to shift in the world or what you're trying to change in the world, what would you say it is? I mean, at the moment, I know you're trying to shift the whole stand of bamboo. Sorry, that joke. But what else are you trying to shift? That's not a stand of bamboo.
Well, at the moment, and look, there are, how do I start? I can start a bit of whinging, I suppose. Not say whinging. The problems, but these problems happen, so it sort of forces us to step up. And there are things that I find, and I don't really have the right words, more
Hmm.
sophisticated words, things that annoy me a little bit,
Oh,
and I
yep,
don't want
yep,
to
yep.
sound like I'm whinging. I live in a city. Just rubbish in
Mhm.
the streets annoy me.
Oh, yep, yep.
Bad behavior.
Oh, yeah,
You can't just say hi
yeah, yeah,
and people harassing and things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or my most previous role as a quality engineer,
Hmm.
standards. You
Yeah,
to me, I'm a bit binary about standards. You either have standards or you don't.
mm-hmm.
You know, I remember going to Japan, and oh my goodness, look at those guys. It's really binary. It's either top or nothing.
Hmm.
There's no rubbish in the
Yeah,
streets. There's a lot of
right,
civility.
yeah, yeah.
So just as someone who's working in property and work with tradies and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, you see poor standards.
Poor standards. Yeah,
Not everybody, but in
yep.
general, they kind of drop a little bit. I don't have any
Interesting.
stats that I've been gathering or whatever to give you figures or anything. But we notice these things. I think anybody who
Yeah,
listens
yeah,
who get a job done and how many times they've been ignored, and when it
yeah,
does
yeah,
happen, are they up to standard?
yeah, yeah.
So some of this old school stuff where you really take pride in it
Mm.
has sort of come away a little bit. How can we bring it back? How can
Mm.
we take pride and not blame people when things go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
There's a sort of shift, a bit of entitlement, and we can say all this millennial stuff and whatnot, and
I'm a millennial.
partisan
You shush.
politics. Partisan politics. Oh, I find that
Yeah, yeah,
really, really.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, I don't know quite. I'm a bit discouraged when I see partisan politics.
Mm.
Look, I think we agree and disagree on many things, and
Yes.
we've got different viewpoints. But and people might look at me no, and I remember I was having a like a lunch in this cafe, and this waiter
Mm.
was talking about a bunch of stuff, and then he asked me, "Are you left wing or right wing?" And I do not know how to answer that. Can I just say I'm a centrist? I see
Yeah,
both
yeah, yeah.
sides, but
Yep, yep,
but
yep.
I felt that he was so left wing. If you're not left wing, you must be right wing. No, I'm in the
Right,
sense that I
right.
see
Yeah,
both
yeah, yeah,
sides.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But you can't somehow accept the fact that I'm
yeah.
somewhere in the middle,
Mm.
or
Yep, yep.
yeah. So just so things like that. So what am I trying to change is I guess this conversation's about, again, I'm not a head of whatever
Mm-hmm.
collaborative type business type whatever. I'm just
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
guy trying to make just a small change, just set an
Yeah.
example. When I throw rubbish in the bins, if there's a recycle bin, put the recycling in the recycling bin after you rinsed it. Just
Yeah,
small little
yeah.
standards, things like that. You know, when you see someone in trouble, help them out rather than just using your phone to you know
Video them.
to view it.
Yeah. Totally,
You
man. I
know,
mean, that's
just be kind
yeah.
and let's lift our game a little bit. Let's be not so entry level perception type thing. You know, don't go into a situation and this is what I see
Yeah.
out of automatic judgment. Let's find out a little bit more. There's a reason behind that.
Yeah.
Something, you know,
And,
things like that. So
yeah. And I find it really interesting what you're saying about that kind of very small. It's we've had people on before and they talked about rather than trying to change the world, they're trying to change things about themselves. And Greg, I still remember the conversation with Greg. But what I find really interesting about what you're saying is you're going slightly outside of your immediate self, right? But you're not, the things you're trying to change are in that it's almost around being civil with each other, being just that layer of, I won't say politeness, but it's just like, yeah, just kind of don't be a dick kind of stuff, right? It's like how do people be less of a dick and be more of not a dick? And the thing is also what I just remembered now as I'm talking to you, the thing that reconnected us was a post you, I think it was on LinkedIn you made a while ago around tidying your work.
oh, yeah, keeping your area tidy.
The work area. Remember the post you made on LinkedIn? I was like,
yeah.
that is really interesting. I mean, one, because my garage is an absolute mess and he made me feel guilty. But also the thinking behind that, is sort of the importance of those really little things. It's not the thing that's going to change the world or solve world peace, but it makes such an impact on the people around you. Like your example of rubbish. If people put the rubbish in the right bin, and it's not that hard in New Zealand, we have 2 bins and maybe 3 bins now with the food scraps, and it's not that hard. But some of those little things actually have quite an impact on the world around you, right?
Yeah. How do I respond to that? The little things count, and the your environment count. So I guess going back to what you were saying about, we change ourselves, but then if we say nothing when we see something wrong,
yeah, bro,
it's kind of a sin,
yeah, I know what I mean.
Look, I'm going to say these things. I don't want to be on a high horse or something. I've done terrible things in my not terrible things, but bad things, and we learn from it. I came out of a train station, and this guy, lots of people walking around in the bottom the Queen Street, the square there. This guy just chucks his his water bottle just in the square. And we all just walk around like nothing.
Yeah.
So this is me. This is exactly what I did.
Very interesting.
Come on, man. Don't just toss it like this. But I didn't force him to do it.
No.
I just look at him and I'll just grab it myself, and then I start walking towards the bin.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully for me, the guy realized his mistake, I suppose. Look, it's a mistake, right? You don't just chuck rubbish in the thing, right?
Yeah.
And he realized, and he quickly came to, oh, sorry, bro, and then he took his bottle, and then he did the right thing. I didn't force him to do it, but I did call him out of it. I didn't. Hey, so it's like what you're saying. Don't be a dick. When you're being a dick, you're being a dick. So, someone's being a dick, you kind of need to call out a little bit. Everyone has a different style. I guess I kind of get away with it. I am a little bigger person. If you're a little bit petite, is could be dangerous even.
Yeah, different way of being.
You can be a bit more elegant about it and say, maybe look at a person, grab it, and put it away anyway. About, make some sort of show of it. But be decent, do the right thing. Don't just chuck rubbish around.
Yeah, that's a really interesting. Why do you think? No, not why do you think people are behaving like that, but more of as you go through the world trying to change those little things, yeah, what's getting in the way of you being able to make those changes? Does that make sense?
Okay.
It's a bit vague, eh?
To to
Baruch and his bloody vague questions, man.
I kind of look at a question in a different way.
Yep.
What's getting in a way? It's not. I don't really think of it as anything getting in my way of making the changes. I do what I can.
Yep.
Yep. So I guess you could say either you have courage or not, and maybe it's a barrier. To make those changes. You want to change the world, you can do it very easily. You don't have to be the prime minister of New Zealand. But having said that, sorry, I might digress a little bit, but we as the little people hold a lot of power just by voting.
That's right.
So you can vote for the person in power, even though it's just one person, but it counts, right? So I kind of think what's getting in the way of people being civil, but maybe another question is what's not getting in the way of being civil?
Oh, yeah, civil. Yeah, that's interesting.
So there's two dimensions of the question. After listening to your live stream, I must admit I kind of prepared for this, and I just it's just my mind. I think like this, right?
Yeah, no, go.
Yeah, something can be a hindrance for you trying to achieve something, but then sometimes you try to achieve something, and something else bad is happening, but there isn't a hindrance to that happening. So
Interesting. Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. And I do come from an engineering background. You can think of an electric circuit, and I don't want to get too, the electrons will go through the path of least resistance. The path will go, go through the path of least resistance, right?
Yeah.
Another example, you remember the cartoon Cars, and there's this big highway that got built. Do you remember that Pixar? The movie.
Oh yeah, Cars, yes, of course.
And there was a small town that got bypassed, and nobody
that's right.
did it anymore. And you could ask the question, well, what got in the way of people getting there? In that example, it was not the thing that got in the way of people getting there. You just got this highway. So the thing that should have gotten in the way is this mountains, so you have to travel to get there.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to illustrate, where something like this could apply. Something to get in the way. I guess in this case of people being civil, maybe a lack of consequence. If you allow people to get away with being uncivil, harassing people. Petty crimes that you don't really get punished for. I'm gonna sound like a really right wing bloody. I want to, but
second. Oh, yep, you're back. Sorry, I think it might be my connection actually. Yep, sorry.
Yeah.
You're saying
so for our own growth, we have to go through the hard times. We have to learn, and we have to reflect. But to answer the question in different ways, the devil shows up in many forms, right? Ourselves, we can be really envious of another person's situation. Your neighbor just bought a new Tesla or whatever, and no, I want that, and then you start thinking silly things, maybe, no, I'm poor, I'm renting and whatnot, you should pay for it. And this kind of negative thought is not really good. Culture is another thing. And for me, being a Malaysian Chinese person,
Mm.
and my grandparents used to speak very negatively of Japanese people because they
Right.
remember the war.
That history. Yeah.
Those things really happened, those atrocious things. And
Mm-hmm.
for a long time, I hated Japanese people. But now I don't.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
because it was a different time, different era.
Yep.
And when I visited Japan, and then I see the culture, and I see the even the language itself, so much of it is based on actually the Chinese culture. I had a different
Mm.
thought about it. Say, no,
Right.
these are actually my people from long ago.
The cousins.
These
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
actually my people from long ago, and they just
Yeah.
went over to this island called Japan,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
evolved
Yeah.
into this culture, this people.
Yeah.
This hate is completely unfounded. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
grandparents talking, not all of them, just
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, totally.
people of that generation, but they suffer those things.
Mm.
So we we start to we show love to our parents or grandparents by hating what they hate,
Yes.
and that's no good.
Yeah. That's not.
So we have to use our sensibilities and say, hey, hang on, I've grown up now. I'm an intelligent person. I can think for myself.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reason behind this hate? If there's any good grounding for it, and do you carry
Mm-hmm.
it? And if you do, there's something wrong. This is where you start to be uncivil. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
you know I'll just hate you because you're that color. No.
Yeah.
So um,
It's
I
really
just started
interesting,
to.
Peter. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
um because this makes me think, right? It's also about. I mean, there's a few threads of what you've spoken about I find really interesting. I mean, just about the small things. I mean, when we started, that's when we talked about loving New Zealand and
Mm,
um, loving New Zealand, and sort of basically there's so much good and beauty here. And then in between, also, you talked about sort of speaking up and all of that, right? And I'm from India, and you know this. And one of the things I've noticed about, so I lived in mainland across India for a while, across a lot of the country. And one of the things I really love about New Zealand is very specific, is there's no low level corruption in the sense of the on the like at a high level, at a country level, dude. Where there's big money involved, I'm sure there's dodgy stuff happening, right? I'll say it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where in the world it is.
yeah.
But on the street, right? Like I mean, in India, for instance, if you get caught speeding, for instance, there's always the temptation and the potential to sort of give the give the policeman a bit of a small bribe and get away.
Mm, mm,
And there's lots of people who refuse to do it in India, don't get me wrong. But there's always that potential and there's always that knowledge that you might be asked. You don't know when. Not of course, not all policemen are corrupt. That's not the point. But one of the joys of New Zealand has been there isn't that low level,
mm.
I don't even expect that. When I've been stopped by the cops maybe once or twice. And mostly was asking questions. Never even entered my head that, ooh, do I have a $50 note in my back pocket or not? It's not even you're not even thinking about it, right?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
which is really beautiful. But also, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a long conversational arc here, but also that draws me up to what you said about what you're saying about not having to continue the tradition of, say, of hating someone, but
Mm,
also connecting that to what you said about speaking up. It's like someone's chucked a bottle and you sort of say, hey, bro, that's not done. And you pick up the bottle and throw it away. But it's like you, that it's all of those little things that make things so good. I don't know I've forgotten where I was going with this, but I'm just pulling out those little bits of what you're saying that just sound really interesting to me. And I mean, coming back to your running right back to your what you're saying about sort of the relationship between Chinese and Japanese and sort of the historic and do we continue in that space? We can choose not. I mean, I can understand if people have been, and I'm sure people who have been really badly affected by the Japanese occupation of China, but also of Malaysia, right, at the time, and how horrible it was. But yeah, that I love what you're saying about choosing to move on, you know, and not continue that cycle. it feels like, I guess here's the arc I'm trying to draw. I think it feels like the small things that you're talking about are connected to the big things. Does it make sense? It's like
Yes.
speaking up is connected to not hating people as well, which is actually a big thing. If all of us didn't hate people, the world would be
It's
a better
very
place.
easy to see a news article, and then we, you could be in a space where, and then you start, and where am I going with this? The media aims to stir a little bit, not a little bit, a lot.
It's kind of their job.
That's how they. And look, to be fair, they're all working, they're all fighting a good fight. Your families to feed and all that, and we are quite sensationalist type people. So you can complain. Someone should do this, someone to do that. We should have more police on the streets and all that. Or you can say something and just do something simple and small.
Yeah.
And if people see you, all the better. Look, I don't need credit, but if I can make an example of that and people see that, just do it, pick it up. And look, the response is this guy actually, oh, sorry, bro. Yeah, it's good.
And
I can't remember what I said to him. Awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
And I just get on. Nothing more needs to be said.
Yeah, nothing more needs to be said.
You've been a dick. You corrected it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And just a small thing. If how many times this in other places it might have happened. Another bad example. And sorry, I do sound like I'm whining and all that sort of stuff. I'll have better stories to share. Bunch of kids just on the skateboards. And then there's a spray paint and start spraying the floor. It's hey, what are you doing? I'm just painting my skateboard, but you're getting it on the tiles. You're making a mess. Don't do that. Or kids, just eating the fried chicken, and I love fried chicken, by the way. And just tossing the rubbish. The bin is just there, so I pick it up, put it there, put it in there next time. Okay, that's it. No, I don't have to force them to do it, but
no,
it's not acceptable. So let's this is uncivilized behavior. And if you just sit around and don't do anything about it, then you're almost encouraging it.
Yeah, I was going to say that you're almost.
Hey, I get away with it. Look, kids will be punks. I was
kids
a punk.
Were the kids.
But I'm thankful for people who have taught me and set me straight. Hey, Peter, you're a dick. You're making a mess of this. It's not cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we learn, and I guess it's about reflecting, refreshing, calibrating your approach. And I think that's part of the solution. Maybe I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but I can almost feel you asking the question, well, what are you doing about it?
What you're going to do?
Yeah.
I feel like you've spoken quite a lot about what you do about it, and I think this has been really interesting to me because it's speaking up, and we know that speaking up is important, and sort of this behavioral science research particularly talks a bit about seeing other people speak up helps you to speak up. It's like there's this what am I saying? I can't. Just trust my hands. There's this. In fact, we kind of infect each other with courage to speak up, right?
Yeah, look, it's being a catalyst, I suppose. You've had that energy in you, and I like to use that term catalyst. It's you have a chemical reaction between two solutions, and something needs to happen, but you just need that third party to boom
a little bit, something to
that little bit of a spark. It's not the spark that burns; it's the fuel that burns. So if you can be that spark, and let that catch, you might see some magic. It can go both ways, of course. You get a bit of mob mentality,
exactly, right?
A lot of hatred happening.
Yeah.
So this is where I guess really good leadership comes in. The right kind of leadership.
Yep.
I mean, history has shown you got bad leaders, but you also have good
Yeah.
leaders. But if you
Yeah.
don't do anything about bad
Yeah.
leaders,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And I mean, I'm just absolutely fascinated by the scale. It's like people that come on here, like a lot of the people that I've talked with and that I continue to talk with are doing really awesome, big things. Does it make sense? And that's brilliant. This is not taking away from that in any way. I absolutely love. I mean, all of the people who have been on here and who will continue to come on are people that I genuinely search out because I want to have this conversation with them. It's not how do you put it? There's no celebrity. There's no celebrity value in any of this. Like, is this being on this live stream going to make you rich and famous? Highly fucking unlikely, my friend. So, um, so I really appreciate you guys coming on too, right? But what I'm trying to get at is, while a lot of people have come on here talk about the big changes they're making, I love the scale at which you're talking because you're talking at a personal scale. It's like the things that bother me are the things that I can speak up about. I mean, and now that you talk about it, I've done this, right? I mean, and we've all done something like this. It's like on a bus and someone said quite a nasty thing to someone else, and I wasn't the time and place to be able to say, "Hey, bro, that's not cool. That's not cool." And sometimes I'm the right person to say, sometimes I'm not. And in that particular case, other people might have felt unsafe. To your earlier point, I didn't feel unsafe. I could speak up. There might be other places where I don't feel like I can speak up, and maybe someone else does. But if we all live like that, if like you're saying, the little people, all of us little people lived like that, it'd be something else, wouldn't it?
yeah, look, it takes a little courage, and
Yeah.
look, if you feel that you had this energy, and I think most of us have this within us, just dying to come out. But sometimes we just need someone else to just make a start, and you give it a box.
Yeah, a small thing. Yeah.
One person does it, and then everybody else will back up. And we say that maybe sometimes we don't. We if you're unlucky, you happen to be in a bus full of people who rather freeze rather than fight, or fly, that sort of thing. I like to use a fourth F, which is finesse. Try and finesse your way through if you can. If you have that sort of presence of mind to sort of, use a bit of finesse and I'll look to you, for example, as a person with a lot of finesse. You have this energy that comes out of you. People respond in a really positive way.
Some people respond. You respond in a positive way. Some people are like, "Oh, bastard, get him off my face." I'm not even joking. It's like I know people who can't stand me. I get it. That's fine. I'm not going to particularly change for them. I just hang out with people like you more.
Yeah, look, I think that's okay, and let's touch on that. When we have a difference of opinion, do we really need to have fist fights over it?
Can we just walk away from each other, right?
Can't we just disagree and go away and think about it? And there's value in lots of disagreement because it forces you to think. The guy could be right. Even if you don't agree with 90%, but maybe that 10% is enough to improve you in one way or another and just change your perspective. And I would say, I think most disagreements I've had with people, I would say they're half right. I at least
I know what you mean.
I admit to myself. So what I do is I do journal every day.
Right, really?
It's a really useful exercise.
Cool.
Three things I always ask myself at the end of the day. Okay, so you reflect on the day. What went well? Okay, you keep those going. What didn't go well? Okay, and what are you going to do about it? And I find this just helps me to sleep because sometimes you just mull over.
Yeah.
You never let it go. I write it down, even if I don't know what I'm going to do about it. You know what I write down? Oh well.
Yeah. That itself.
I don't know what to do about this, but I've written it down. I can think about it tomorrow, or whatever, or the solution will come to you in a different way. The universe works in a really weird way. You write something down, you think about it, and sometimes it presents itself a week later, 2 years later, even.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, very much so. Right. It's quite fascinating. The deeper with my study, the deeper I go into the research, it's like the separation. I'm going to try and put this simply, but the separation between us as individuals and the world around us
Mm.
is not as we're not as separate as we like to think. The interconnections are very deep, and a lot of them are quite invisible and unknown. And even stuff like our thoughts and our emotions are not inside our heads. It's out in the
Yes.
world,
Yes.
and it's quite complex and dynamic. And it's quite fascinating to what you're saying. It's like exactly that. Sometimes you write something down and I don't know what to do with it. And maybe in 2 years you suddenly wake up in the middle of the night, go like, I know exactly what to do. And that's the right time for it. There's this
Yeah. There's how to describe it? There's energy that's very nuanced.
nuanced. Yeah. I love the word.
And you can't detect
Nuance.
it, but it
No.
comes through. And I think with
Yeah.
practice, you can start to recognize it.
Yeah.
Because things happen. Not necessarily because there's some spirit or ghost, and you can think of it that way if you want.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
people
however
do
it
have beliefs like
works.
that.
Yep. Fair enough.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
I really should let you go. We've kind of gone over time. It's like this has been so much fun. I have
Oh, really?
no regrets.
Okay.
Two questions I do have for you. Do you want the easy one first or the hard one first?
Oh, just maybe the easy one first.
Okay, let's do the easy one. So when you're cutting the
maybe
bamboo,
turn out to be a hard one.
who knows? When when you're talking about you clearing the bamboo stand, how big is the bamboo stand?
Oh, it's just 1-2 centimeter. It's not very thick.
Oh no, how big's the stand itself?
Oh, the brush of bamboo is like 5 by 5 meters. It's
okay. Yeah. So here's my question: are you using a machete like your ancestors would and would have been proud of you, or are you going to be a complete modern day wuss and use a chainsaw?
My this is weird. My daughter has a machete, and I will be borrowing it. Yeah.
Oh, cool! You're going to an old-fashioned style. Yes, so proud, man. I was like, he's going to be a wuss and use a chainsaw like that.
I do intend to use a reciprocating saw.
What?
And what do you call those? Like a chipper to sort of mince it out and mouch it out.
Your ancestors, mate. Yeah. Your ancestors and my ancestors built entire civilizations with machete.
Machete?
Go all
right. Okay, why don't you come with me and have some fun with it?
Damn it, I didn't expect it to go there. Okay, that was the easy question. The second question is just slightly harder, and do feel free to tell me to bugger off, right? Because one of the things I've really loved about our conversations and this continuing conversation is your reflectiveness about some of these things and the way you think about it. Also, every time I hear you introducing yourself, the first thing you introduce yourself is as a dad. That's sort of been a consistent Peter from, like, I don't know, 2012 or 2013 when I first met you. Like, hi, I'm Peter, I'm a dad. It's sort of almost the first kind of thing you say. And so my hard question is this. It's like, how you talked about there's some things that we have learned from our parents and grandparents that we follow because we love them, but it's not the right way to do it. What are the kinds of things you think your children might say about you, your children and your grandchildren might say about you in that light? And sorry if this is a very personal question. Kind of tell me to fuck off if you want to, but no.
It's quite interesting to the listeners. We were just talking in preparation for this conversation, and I said I will try not to use F words, and I feel that you're trying to encourage me to use it, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. Okay. I guess we come to a point we're making closing remarks, right? I reflect. So I do this thing what I call the RRC. Reflect in your day. What's good, bad, what you're gonna do about it, and all that sort of stuff. You refresh because you got to refresh. You got shit on you, maybe not literally, but you got to refresh.
Yeah.
Give yourself a shower and calibrate. calibrate because you want to change it. You want to be a better version of yourself every day, right? So what I try and teach my kids is, that you make your own mind. I would not push the tradition of, we have this thing called filial piety. You've got to respect and honor your parents. But to me, if your parents are doing something not quite honorable, not everything, just one or two particular things, you're not honoring them in your family. If you have a better sense, the world is different back then, more complicated, more simple, I don't know, whatever. But you start to develop a sense of what is right and what is wrong. So I will encourage my kids, you decide what is right and wrong. One day I will have dementia. I will say a lot of silly things, and I train my mind. If my kids tell me that, I must shut up, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, nice.
So, life, and I've been saying a lot of this to my kids. You fight a good fight. It's not meant to be. The goal is not to just have it so easy, because there's no fulfillment in that.
All right. There is a bit of struggle. There needs to be struggle.
Yeah. Fight a good fight, but fight a good fight for what you really should care about. What? I'm going to say the F word now. What do you give a fuck about? Okay. Now, if you give too much fucks about your neighbor's Tesla and BMW, that is not what you should give a fuck
That's
about.
a problem. Yeah.
If you give a fuck about your family, their livelihood, and how they grow to be great people, you got to put your integrity on trial. Put them in a courtroom. Close those doors, because reputation will quickly subordinate to the evidence to the judge and jury. What is the evidence to your integrity? What is the evidence? What do you give? What you should give a fuck? You're gonna stop. Do I care about this? No, I should not care about this. Do I care about my kids and livelihood and the ability to be good people, good civil people? Then I'm going to focus on that and work on that.
Very cool. Thank you, Peter. This has been a really great chat. And I still remember the first time I asked you if you would, and you're like, "Whoa." And I was like, "No, it'll be great." And then you didn't believe me, but you trusted me enough to actually come on. And I'm grateful, because this has been a great chat. And I think the artificial construct of this live streamy thing with a bunch of slightly prepared questions actually has helped me understand you and your perspective a little bit more, because you're right, in some of our politics we potentially don't agree, but
I think for good reason, because we have different perspectives.
For good reason. I mean, I think we kind of come from the same place, but we go to different places, if that makes sense. It's like this is kind of slightly branching out. But that's partly why I so appreciate these conversations with you, because it's like, well, they're civil. We're able to have really civil conversations, but we're also able to understand each other a little bit better in the perspectives of the world. So thank you, Peter. I really appreciate you coming on today.
And to you, Baruch, I deeply respect you, and it's a real honor to know you as a person. So yeah, just wanted to thank you, and look, I bow down to you.
Cheers, my friend.
Because I really respect you that much as a person. You have great mana. You speak this great positive energy. It affects me. It inspires me to be a better person. So I look forward to more chats, maybe less of this live streaming stuff. But
we don't have to. We don't have to record this stuff. Right? We'll say what we really think. We'll have chats where we say what we really think, and people who can't. It's not on the public record. No. Now, excellent. Thank you very much, Peter, again. And you can show me. Maybe you can come on again after you've gone and chopped the bamboo and show us your muscles.
Yeah. I can give you. I show you my injuries more likely. Try not to get cut. Maybe I can help you sort your garage out. Maybe I can help you sort your garage out.
Oh yeah, my wife would be quite pleased if we did that. As would I. But yeah. Maybe before, by the time you come back, I'd have finished sorting out my garage, and you can just come and do that.
Yeah. And we can live stream it too. Whoa, look at this. Organize your garage, organize your life.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like you're gonna write a book, bro. Organize a garage, organize your life. That sounds like a great title for a book.
Yeah. I am writing a book, not about that, but more later.
You are?
Yeah.
What? Oh, what? Say a bit more.
Yeah.
What's it about? Just say what it's about.
It's about trying to be living an eco-friendly life in this day and age without being
Oh,
a hippie about it.
interesting.
Without being a hippie about it. So, we I live in an apartment. It's simply not practical to use moss to wipe my butt. Sorry for the reference, but that's the extreme reference. But you do what you can. We talked about recycling earlier. Actually, the recycling doesn't get recycled in the city. It gets thrown in the bin. So there's something wrong with that, and I'm trying to do something with that too. But that's on the side.
Oh, bloody awesome.
Mm.
Thank you again very much, Peter. And I'll end the stream, but I'll just keep you on. For those of you who've been here, thank you very much for being here. Also, this is recorded, so for those of you who see it later, if you do want to get in touch with Peter for whatever reason, you go through me and I take a 10% cut or something. So, but
you'd be ripped off.
Findable on LinkedIn. You'll probably be ripped off, yeah. So, but he's pretty findable on LinkedIn if you're interested in getting rid of a lot of bamboo at one go for some reason. But also, for his engineering work as well. Thank you very much, Peter. We'll end the stream here. And thank you for everyone who's been here.
Yummy.